So I'm not a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, but I think what Toronto Maple Leaf fans have a nightmare. You wake up screaming in the middle of the night, why in the fuck did we trade Errol Thompson? And you're probably saying to yourself, if you're under the age of 30, who's Errol Thompson and why Jeffrey Curson? Well, if you're over the age of 40 and a Maple Leaf fan, you know why I'm cursing. I'm cursing on their behalf. Errol Thompson was one of the most consistent forwards, two-way players that Toronto had in the 1970s, and he was traded for no reason, really. He could have stayed with Toronto, and another player could be sent to Detroit in the Don Maloney trade, but for some reason Roger Nielsen had him in the doghouse, and he was gone. Imagine he would have kept Errol Thompson when Vive and Derlago arrived a couple of years later. He would have had, and kept Lanny McDonald. He would have had Sittler, McDonald, Thompson, John Anderson, Vive, and Derlago. You can't tell me that Toronto could have got on a cup run. This trade maybe was the last straw in Toronto's 1970 team not being considered good enough to win the cup. They were reloading at the time, and he dumped, really, Errol Thompson, where he could have sent another player to Detroit. Now, he played most of his NHL career with Toronto, of course. He was selected second overall, second round, 22nd overall, by the Leafs in the 1970 amateur draft. He came to major prominence, ladies and gentlemen, for the exhibition major junior team, the Halifax Junior Canadians. Errol's Summerside PI connections are strong because he's motivated. A lot of people through the years in that region say, listen, if Errol can make it, I can make it too. In his first season with Halifax, he got 60 points in 47 games in 67. 68, 61 points in 45 games. Also played a Memorial Cup. And 69, the last year with Halifax, he had 29 points in 30 games. Now in 1970, he was with the Charlottetown Royals of the NBSHL with 36 points in 20 games, including 4 points in the playoffs. Now, when he was discovered, he was playing again with that senior league. One of the few times in NHL history that an under 21 was drafted by a maritime senior hockey league to go into the NHL. Now, at the time, he was only playing for $15 a game. Of course, that was kind of the per diem for the NHL at the time. He was spotted and scouted by legendary Leaf goalie turned scout Johnny Bower. Now, for Toronto to take him so high overall was kind of a partial shock, not the shock to the people in Maritimes like we were. Now, in the 1970 season, he was sent to the CHL's Tulsa Oilers for seasoning. He scored 15 goals in 65 games. He did get called up for one game with Toronto in 1971. 72 back to seasoning for Tulsa the full season, 21 goals. 73, he finally made a breakthrough with Toronto, getting 32 points in his rookie season. Now, I really think this is what happened, ladies and gentlemen. After he had that strong 75 season, and 76 probably one of the better seasons for a Maple Leaf when he scored 43 goals on Sittler's line in 75 games, including 6 points in the playoffs. 1977, he had a major injury. He broke his arm. Now, for some reason, when he came back, he saw less and less ice time under Roger Nielsen's defensive-orientated system. Now, I don't know if it was a bad conversation with management or Nielsen. It probably was a case of play me or trade me. And he was again traded to the Red Wings and various draft picks for Don Maloney on March 13, 1978. So within a year and a half, two-thirds of the line was traded, with McDonald later on to Colorado and Thompson to Detroit. Now, in Detroit, he continued to produce. A good overall player. He had 54 points in 79. And these numbers went up again in 1980 with 34 goals in 77 games. And again, a pure natural scorer. He was eventually named co-captain of the Wings with Reed Larson. Now, 81 saw his point totals decrease. He was eventually traded to Pittsburgh, and he wrapped up his career in the NHL that year with the 20-goal mark in 73 games. Now, overall, 208 goals, 393 points in 599 NHL games. Of course, he gets his pension with that number. 12 points in 34 games. Now, 1976, 75, 76, 77. They were good enough to beat the Kings and the Pittsburgh in the preliminary rounds. They were always playing the Flyers in the first round, and it was wearing on them quite a bit. They made the breakthrough in 78 when they bet the Islanders, but of course Thompson was not there. He was in Detroit. The only way you're going to beat Montreal again in that 78 or 79 playoff, Toronto against Montreal, to have a high second line player or a high third line player like Errol Thompson to score the goals where the two main lines are blocked off. Toronto again, ladies and gentlemen, should not have traded Errol Thompson. You could have given a draft pick. They could have done somebody else. If they were so pissed off at Paul Matier, they could have traded him and put a board in the net. But Errol Thompson was a pure Toronto Maple Leaf. I saw him speak enough in the media, print, otherwise. He loved playing in Toronto because maritime players loved the Maple Leafs and the Canadians. His heart was the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he played that strong with Detroit. But you got to understand, he's an overachiever. You go for $15 a night in Senior Pro in PI, and this is not New Brunswick there. No disrespect to Islander senior hockey, but North Shore hockey is paying a lot better and in a lot of ways a better quality players. Errol Thompson excelled so much with determination, and that's how they treat him in Toronto. Trade him for no reason, just as an afterthought. So who knows? Who knows? When your team is run by a Donald Trump style mentality, that's what happened in the 1970s. And Harold Ballard was Donald Trump before Donald Trump was a pimple on the arse of this world, in my opinion. So that's the story of Errol Thompson. Thanks for listening. Give me a like, comment, or subscribe. We appreciate you dropping in. And again, congratulations to Tampa Bay and, of course, Dallas on a great Stanley Cup final. Have a good day. Bye.